Ayo.
Welcome to Benchwarmers, a WOSO podcast, episode 36. 36. That's what it is. I am on a massive high. I can't think of anyone who's 36 at the moment. But what I can think of is that WOSO is just treating me nicely every single week, and Leggy is falling further into the depths of demise every week.
I was pretty happy this week.
Oh, okay. Well,
you knocked Chelsea out. We
I guess
stopped
that's
United
true.
from getting Europe.
That's very true. I feel like there were some good moments. I guess we'll have to go down under for the sadness. But we will start with part one. Part one is looking at the domestic cups around the grounds. We're going to start in England, the magic of the Adobe FA Cup, Women's FA Cup. Shout out the remontada, the English remontada, also known as the comeback. That's what it actually is for all those people out there who using remontada needlessly. It is the comeback round. I mean, these semi-finals will go down in WOSO folklore, honestly. We're going to start where we're supposed to start, which is Chelsea and Manchester City at the Stamford Bridge, a place we do not like to go, a place we are not very successful in. And honestly, it showed. We went into this game. We went with an interesting lineup. We went with Kiara Keating in goal. We went at AG in centre back like it's 23-24. We had Uabi like it was 23-24. I mean, we had Kiara Keating like it was 23-24 as well. But we had LBB in for Coffee. Obviously, Coffee not fully back to fitness, but had to play that almighty Liverpool game. And then I got my wish, which I'm regretting now, but had Grace Clinton in the 10 for Fujino, a natural 10, which was an exciting precedent for me at least. And with AJ's pre-match talking about what it means to be a champion team, what it means to go out there and present yourself. Yes, we know we're a champion team now. We are champions, but going out there to think, can we be more than what we are? And to be honest, the first half kind of thought we were drunk. I kind of thought that the celebrations were really strong. We did get a little bit Jack Grealished in the first half. We got slapped. Sonia's mob did what they were supposed to do. They outpressed us. They outworked us. For some reason, I feel like Erin Cuthbert is the Scottish kryptonite to Yui Hasegawa. I don't know what it is, but she just absolutely destroys her every time they play against each other. But other than a dragged Hempo chance wide and one LBB deflected shot that was magnificently saved by Hannah Hampton, I think they outworked us. They were killing us. You were watching this game as well. What did you think of the strength and stature in midfield? LJ dropping deeper, central positions. I feel like they really got the tactics right in that first half.
I think I said this to you as well. It felt like a Chelsea team that was invigorated by the fact that they could win a domestic cup double in a way that I think that your team was slacking a little bit. I thought that the pace of the game was not necessarily what I expected, particularly from a City side that throughout the season, and the real differentiator between your lot and the rest of the competition was the speed on attack, the speed on transition, but also the ability to get the ball out of midfield and into the final third of the opposition. I felt like in this game in particular, Chelsea were not only one step ahead of you in every movement, but very much wary of the fact that you were still a threat and were taking you at face value. They realized that Bunny Shaw was as much of a threat as whoever they had up top, and they made do with the fact that they had the better chances in the first half and they capitalized. And I thought that for your sake, you went into the second half much more like the team that had won the WSL.
Oh, I mean, yes, I do get what you mean. In the second half, there was a little bit of a switch, but not enough of a switch. And I actually think you say that they had they took their chances. I actually think they were unlucky to not get more. So they only had one in the first half, and it was a deflected Erin Cuthbert shot. Dispossessing Yui Hasegawa, as I said. Sam Kerr holds up play very well. It deflects off Jade Rose. I don't know what it is. Jade Rose also can't play against Chelsea for some reason. She plays well against everyone else, but Chelsea is the one. And It was, yeah, look, it was a old habits play. It felt a lot like game week one, like we'd
Mm,
regressed back to game week one, and their strength in midfield was so good. And then you had Ellie Carpenter. This is the pseudo controversial moment of the game where Carpenter whips that ball into Kerr. They score, what, not even 2 minutes later after they'd scored. The linesman judges the ball out of play. A lot of people are saying that it wasn't out of play. It's very close. There's no VAR. You can't really see. I'm happy either way. If they got the goal, they probably deserved it. If they didn't, I think it's fair. I think the linesman is in the best position of the hundreds of thousands of people that have watched it concurrently. That moment, you can go either way with it, and that's the beauty of football ultimately. But it wouldn't have taken long for them to keep going. They kept taking pot shots. I mean, it was LJ versus LBB with the pot shots, and I swear to God, something about English players and Kira Walsh as well. Like,
mm,
stop taking shots from 35 yards. Who is giving you? Why is AJ giving the license for LBB to take those pot shots? But I will say that LBB is the only one who can hold her head up high in that first half, because my God, some of the tackling, some of the pressing, she was playing like she wanted a spot in this team. And
mm,
it was very impressive, some of the tackling work she did. She wasn't getting bullied the same way Yui was. She wasn't getting bullied the way Clinton was. And she wasn't passengering the way Clinton was. Grace Clinton was very disappointing in that first half. I don't really remember her getting the ball other than to pass it backwards. I feel like she would have had negative meters gained. But they were, I don't know, they were very profligate shots between Bunny Shaw, Lauren Hemp, LBB. We were not able to actually capitalize on the work that we did to progress the ball in the first half. So they did go in 1-0, and it was still all Chelsea in the second half for the first 20 minutes, in my opinion. I think Uabi versus Alyssa Thompson was a very bad matchup for us in a lot of ways at the start of the game, but then eased off. So Thompson started the game early. She had the first big chance of the game, but then her shots started to not really test Kiara Keating. Caspi was getting completely outworked by Neve Charles, which is a sentence I've never thought I would ever gonna say. Bunny kept missing the target. There was anger in the team. I don't know if you remember that moment where Caspi and Clinton are yelling at each other.
mm.
They're screaming. They're talking about Bunny's yelling at Hempo about where she wants the ball to go. Why are you whipping it to Carolyn instead of me? Which I think is right. Why is Clinton sitting in these weird pockets of space? And then the moment happens, right? So we have the what I thought would define the entire game, which is really depressing, is a cross from Lauren James that was too hot to handle. Not really too hot to handle. This was Kiara Keating fluffing this chance. This
Yeah.
is sadly something that she has in her game that somehow hasn't been removed. And even with, I mean, she's still not an old goalkeeper, but again, has enough experience in the top flight and the top level. Look, for Christ's sakes, you played against Barcelona and been
Mm,
player of the match in a game against Barcelona. There's no excuses for why you've dropped this ball. And Sam Kerr has ended up with her 19th FA Cup goal. It was
mm.
2-0. I messaged you. I said it's done. We end up we're handing Chelsea a domestic cup double. We're handing Sonia the right to hold her head up high at the end of this season. That hasn't been good for her in any way. But it was AJ bringing on substitutes early in the game. And you know what? If it takes two goals down for us to bring on subs earlier, by all means, you know what? Score against us. Put the scoreboard pressure on, because Iman Beney came on for Caspi and Grace Clinton came off for Ayoba Fujino. And I mean, look, we were even lucky then, because about a minute later, Kerr's goal got ruled out. You had this combination play between Walsh, Thompson, and Cuthbert, which was fantastic. Whipped into Sam. She heads it in perfectly. She's just offside. She is offside. So we got away with that. And then basically the actual big sub of the game, as much as I can talk about Benny and Fuji coming on and providing a very bright spark at the start, it was Viola Berman, who was absolutely locking up Bunny Shaw, was locking up Carolyn on that side, coming off for MBE Bronzy. And what we all know about Lucy Bronze is that she either comes on, generalizes the game, closes it out, probably nicks a goal or an assist and does the damage. But that's when she's at right back. And when she's a centre back, I've said it all year, I think she's not the same player. And also low-key city op. Like, we love Lucy Bronze. We don't have anything against Lucy Bronze. And most arch nemesis of Lucy Bronze don't really hate Lucy Bronze, because you just kind of just have to give her the respect of what she's done in her career. But this is not a moment to reflect on for Lucy Bronze, because once she came on, I feel like there were some moments where she was clearing the ball. You didn't really know what was happening. You didn't really know if it was going to be like settled into the game. You didn't know if they were going to create chances. But basically, from the 70th minute, while we looked cagey, I just think they were trying to close off the game. So they weren't actually taking as much shots, which allowed us to get forward. And then we brought on Mary Fowler, Saint Mary Fowler for Layla Uabi, which means we changed formation, which look, I haven't seen this before, but this pseudo three at the back in possession of the ball, yeah, with a rotating, inverting front four of Beney and Hempo running the sides, and then you have Bunny, Carolyn, Mary, and Fagino as like this boxed four at the front, was the weirdest formation I think I've ever seen in my life. But this is throwing the kitchen sink. This is basically saying, score against us if you can, we're going to go for it. And by God, did we go for it. So it starts off 1 minute into Fowler's cameo. Mary Fowler comes on and Carolyn inverts to the left side, helps Hempo as an overlap with that reverse pass. The cross hits Bunny. Bunny too close to Neve Charles to shoot. She can't shoot it. She plays the worst layoff I've ever seen in my life to Mary Fowler, who can't do anything with it. She lays it back to Beney. Beney's blocked by Lauren James for her shot, but she was so aggressive on that right side. Basically, Neve Charles could not handle the physicality of Iman Beney, which was wide and clear that she was so far up. It was like Iman Beney was playing the role of Esme Brutes for Barcelona, but it was Mary who laid it back to Beney. Then Beney got blocked, and then Beney gives it back to Mary. Mary mops it up, catches Hannah Hampton off guard with her weak foot, her left foot. I mean, calling it a weak foot is a disgrace. Mary Fowler is the most ambidextrous footballer that's ever lived. And it's a low perler, bottom left corner, her first goal in City colours since the injury. And what a coincidence. It's in an FA Cup final against Chelsea, obviously. But the Beney assist as well is fantastic. We're 2-1. The game's shifted. We look feisty. We look hungry for it. We're killing them. The overload is crazy. They're not getting any shots out. And it was another Hempo ball from the left side, which, again, Lucy Bronze is the one who blocked Beney's shot and then allowed Mary to have the space to shoot. This part where Hempo whips the ball, poorly cleared by Lucy Bronze. Iman Beney and Co Nusken, two players on opposite ends of their spectrum in their career. Like, Nusken is matured, seasoned, won so much. Beney has everything ahead of her, but she works harder. She gets there first. She puts her body on the line. She heads the ball. She gets there ahead of Nusken, and Bunny chests her down, contorts her body in a way that I don't think it was possible. I could only ascribe this goal to three players in world football, which is obviously Alessia Russo, Alexia Puteas, and probably Pio. They're probably the three, I would say. I don't even think Harder doesn't do this. Harder wouldn't play this moment, but she chests it down. She flicks it into the bottom right corner. I don't know how. It's a cheeky, acrobatic, backwards volley. I don't know how to describe it other than that, but it's never say die. It's give her 2 million, give her 2.5 million a year. This is why you have to stay. What a fucking goal. I lost my mind when this went in. The whole game shifted. We had no right to be in this game in the 91st minute, and we took it into extra time, and we were the ones up for it. They did not want to be playing extra time. Absolutely not. They looked flat. They looked dead. That first half of ET, they had one shot, none on target, and it was a pot shot. And then it was Yui Hasagawa, redemption moment. She had to redeem herself. She whipped it in, and Bunny Shaw heads it with a direct marker as Lucy Bronze couldn't get near Bunny Shaw. She heads it into the top right corner. We're 3-2 up. The fact that we were even up in this game was mental. I thought they would have got one back with us trying to survive the second half of extra time. Shout out to Sydney Lohman for making some game-saving tackles. Some of the tackles she was making, she could have easily been sent off if she's like centimetre off, centimetre here and there. But that is why you're in the team. Leadership. A player who's won it all, has won the domestic cups in Germany. That's what she's there to do. And she was making these game-saving tackles. But it was an amazing whip from Baltimore that hit the front of the post. I really got nervous after that Olympico attempt. But It was Nuskin given the perfect ball, a perfect whip onto her head. She whips it, heads it into the top right corner, and Kiara Keating to redeem herself as well. Unbelievable. 117th minute save. That's what it means. The magical save that saves the game. Nothing basically after that. We kept going till the 26th minute. It was mental scenes at the end of the game, just trying to hold off the storm that Chelsea were trying to create, which is fair because we're trying to close out the game. We should have just kept the aggression going and put the ball forward, but obviously that's not what's going to happen in these games. But it does book us a date with Wembley. We're going to Wembley. I'm so excited. I am like so gassed. Obviously, what happens when moments like this happen in a season? I had to write a song. We are the new kids on the block. We have taken over. This is it. This is the moment to show that we are worthy of more than one trophy. This is for the double. We have done, obviously, when I spit my bars, I do AJ Eglerts into AJ Tracy, but we've got a new title that enters the ranks. We've done AJ Tracy, we've done Little Sims as well. We're going A-JME. Am I right? So we're going A-JME, classic banger. We are taking over. The song is called Citeh Taking Over. I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Sonia, Bompastor.
The glasses.
Your 2-goal lead is gone. Didn't really matter that your first half strong. Clear as day, Andre, that the plan for the game was paying LJ Merkin. Then came Beney and Fuge. Start the drama, City, remontada. Mary goes bang to pop in the first. Bunny got space to volley in the second. Never in doubt, she heads in the third. Going to Wembley, we march in fourth. 13 years since Chelsea got pipped like this. Blue bottle taking a piss. Nowhere to go, cup the ratio. It's the magic of the cup. You see that, though. Kiara with the save in the dying stage to stop CEO to beat the Blues at the bridge we've peaked. Their FA Cup final for a double is elite. Jade Rose no cap, she's queen at the back end with Caspi, she's team of the season. The bench is doing their deeds. Sam Coffey out trust LBB. Need a big tackle, just ask Sydney. Kernack out is instability, but you move AG into CB and then you start EURB. AJ combinations don't stop. Fluid and variation on lock. How do you stop the Swedish god with a hungry rotating squad? Bunny leaves sign ASAP. 20 goal icon to the Joey. Try Viv and the 9 bander. It's a blind build. Schroeder to prime. If we have the time, all these killers can definitely save us. I fuck the game up by Lexi Puteas.
That was such a great ending. That was amazing.
Oh, I love grime. I love grime so much. It's so good. But I mean, that song does get me into the next 2 points, which is the fact that ultimately, I mean, we have rotations, we have the variability, we have the ability to change up our backline and trust our backline to do the right thing. But it's more how do we build on this, right? So how do we take the next steps in making sure that, like, we have now proven that we can bat deep, but now it's if Bunny leaves, which is looking incredibly likely. So that the last line I said, is it Schroeder? Is it Puteas? Is it something that's different on the cards? I mean, I've even heard people online talking about, I mean, Beth Mead playing in different positions, but ultimately there needs to be development that takes us through the Champions League, needing the depth with Champions League experience. And Beney and LBB and Sydney off the bench is great, but their Champions League experience is limited. So Beth would be very useful in that realm of Champions League experience, WSL experience, but ultimately I feel like there needs to be a little bit more ambition than like an Arsenal scraps, I guess.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see Beth as the killer that she was back in pre-2022 era. And you're
No,
getting
it's no, just 22 era.
nice.
Had to.
But the level that you will get is something that I think you are missing, which I think is experience in the front line on the opposite side of Lauren Hemp. I don't think Carolyn had a particularly good game
No, definitely
in
not.
a way that I think she will struggle in the Champions League. She won't struggle against teams that allow her space, but given the opportunity, Niamh Charles had a fantastic game, and I think that she needed a good game. I don't know her contract situation going into next season, but
Linked
this
with
is
Madrid as well.
this is the type of football that she'd want to be playing to be trying to get a better deal. But to be honest, I think Beth Mead she's a move and I think, and I've talked about this before, one of the things I'm most looking to City after this particular generation leaves is how you regenerate your squad. Is something you failed to do back in the early 2020s, is something that you failed even to do when you had lost the championship by a goal difference, right? Like this is
Mm.
it's youth at their own prime. It's the
Yeah.
likes of Benny hitting those peaks.
Yeah,
And Beth
crazy. Her
Mead,
clutch, her stats, like
yeah,
the
it's
stats won't
insane.
show
It's
the
mental.
stats won't show the impact that Benet has had. And I mean, there was like we had this conversation earlier in the year where
Mm.
you were like, if Benet doesn't get enough minutes, then she'll go to get
Yeah,
90s every week.
yeah,
And there's an argument for that, but she's in that position, she's in the impact position. She probably thinks that she can potentially pip Caspi, but the reality is that she comes on and she comes on 2-0 down and
yeah,
sets up the two goals that get us back in this game, which is a testament to her. The things she's done as a super sub in the last 6 months is absolutely sublime. The maturity of a 19-year-old to be able to do that. That's we have the super sub stat. We have the super sub stocks. We do have that. The question will be the improving in positions of strength,
mm,
right? So
mm,
this is what champions do.
mm,
Arsenal have Katie McCabe and Emily Fox, and they're deciding we need Ona Battier. That's strengthening
yeah.
in positions of strength. Chelsea are going, we have Sam Kerr, Myra Ramirez, and Aggie Beaver Shaw, Aggie Beaver Jones, and we're going to get Bunny Shaw. That's
But
strengthening in positions of
but I
strength.
don't. But I actually think, to be honest, I think that Chelsea are worse off in terms of the signings that they've made. I think it's actually a misdemeanor to call is that the word? I don't even know if that's the word. I don't think it's correct to presume that Chelsea have spent so much money and have made this squad better. I don't
Oh,
think
it's
this
like
is a better squad.
mischaracterization. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mischaracterization. I don't think
yeah.
this squad is better. And I
Mm.
actually think that it is worse given the fact that the players that they've brought in do not add any identity to this squad. Watching this game, this was a game of passionless Chelsea. Very at
Well,
the start, it
well, I mean,
was
it was passionful
the
for
last the
85
last
minutes. For
20
85 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
The last
yeah,
20 minutes, they were leggy. They
yeah.
had no fire. The subs coming on
The
did
bad leggy,
nothing. They had
not the
yeah,
good leggy.
true. The subs coming on did basically nothing, and that's the difference. You
Mm,
have 19-year-olds coming on and
mm.
winning games. Yes, Bunny Shaw
Yeah,
won it technically, but
yeah.
coming on and
There's a
winning games.
time when Aggie Beaver Jones would come on and get a third
Aggie
goal.
Beaver
Yeah,
Jones has not had a good season. JRK has been underused.
yeah.
Baltimore is like probably the brightest flame to burn out in the WSL that
Mm.
I've seen in a while.
Good
The
morning,
Ian
Baltimore.
Wright,
Good night,
the
Baltimore.
Ian
Yeah,
Wright
it's
curse.
yeah.
But
Wow. Yeah.
Sonia Baltimore has unfortunately lost so much identity with this Chelsea team, and it's
Mm,
because her identity has imbued itself to Chelsea. It's like
mm.
sticky glue. There's no getting around it that Chelsea don't actually have the same posture that they do when they have trophies. If they don't have trophies, then they're nothing really. There's no identity there to begin with.
Well, they've got one, and it's not enough for this season. But I wonder the Sonia stock of it all is the allure, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to Chelsea just to play with like world class footballers in their own right. You're going to be under a tutelage where you play the best version of
Yeah.
football of yourself. And the reality is that right now you can't really say with firmly held conviction that any player other than Vila Berman right now is playing their top football. And
Mm.
I could argue Kadisha Buchanan played very well in that game, and when
She's
she
had a
got taken off,
horrendous month. She's had
yeah,
a
exactly.
horrendous month.
Yeah, but
Like
when she got taken off, they were flat. They were rubbish. When they took off both of them, you're looking at the bench and you're seeing Sam
mm,
Kerr and LJ and Naomi Gurma, one player who didn't play, but two players who played their absolute heart out to make sure that that was a
mm,
2-0 win. And then they're sitting on the bench watching them get
yeah.
remontaded. It's
Yeah.
it's really embarrassing. It's really poor, and it means that they're looking at the wrong side of the pitch if they want Bunny Shaw.
Mm,
Sam Kerr has scored in 14 of her last
yeah.
15, scored or assisted in her last 14 of 15 matches. The only game she didn't was the Asia Cup final, which
Mm,
is a very good record showing that Sam Kerr is kind of back. It's not the same, but she is definitely back in the realm of the killer that she once was. So looking at Sam Kerr as like, oh, she has to go if Bunny leaves. She probably will go if Bunny gets signed. But the reality is that without Bjorn and without Germa, their defensive stocks
mhm.
are gettable. winnable,
Right.
beatable, and especially at their fortress, their former fortress in Stamford Bridge, that they have been beaten at now twice by their two
A
rivals.
soulless stadium, a completely soulless stadium. This is the problem with Chelsea. That I feel
Mm,
like philosophically, there's no foundation, there's no groundwork. They went from
mm,
0 to 100 basically 10 to 15 years ago. They were nothing, and then Emma Hayes came in. And unfortunately, Sonia Bompastor, and I think Chelsea at large have
mm,
tried to find something, tried to find a, a point where they can reach and be like, this is the Chelsea level. And that Chelsea level is fading. It is
mm,
basically non-existent. And if
mm.
anything, it is crumbling under the non-foundations that belie this club.
And I also wonder the Cat Macario of it all, which was also the interesting one, which is a
That's the
player.
question all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, but again, it's a player that is a Champions League final scorer, Champions League final winner, serial winner, wins everywhere she goes, everywhere she is, and is basically the case study of the first one to go, the first one to decide, you know what, I'm not getting minutes under this new system. I don't
I
care how good she is as a manager.
I
I'm going. I'm
I
going.
think Kat Macario is a bit of an outlier only because she had a very similar relationship with Sonia when she was at Lyon. It's one
Mm.
of those things like it's kind of like if Ali Carpenter didn't like Joe Montemurro when she was playing at Lyon, then she
She
wouldn't have
wouldn't have
liked him playing
gone. Yeah,
in
yeah,
Australia. So
yeah, yeah,
it's a
exactly.
bit of the same thing. Kat Macario's always had a turgid relationship with Sonia,
Mm.
but I'm looking at the players like Sam Kerr. I'm looking even at that midfield. Serkan Nuskin was basically leaving halfway through the season. They reeled
Now
her
she's
back
back.
in.
Yeah,
And now she's back. What are they going to do? Charles, another example. I have
yeah.
no idea what that backline is going to look like next year.
Bayern, she could have been at Bayern winning a domestic treble. Am I
Exactly.
right? But
Yeah.
on the other side, we had. I mean, we're changing games, but we're
Mm.
keeping the streets stay the same. At the Brewdog Stadium, we had a brewing remontada as well because it was a nuts game. Vido-ball, the magic school bus lives on. The Vido-ball train just keeps on chugging because St. Helens was the next victim of Vido-ball. St. Helens was rocking early. We did have a Kerry Holland corner fizzled into the fizzled to Fran Kirby, dispossessed by Bernabe. Ball gets fed back to Holland at the edge of the box, and she whips it into DOS, Denise O'Sullivan, who finishes off with a beautiful header to open up the scoring. They looked up for the cup, this
Mhm.
Gazball side. And you know what? Gazball, former City, loves the FA Cup. It's obvious. I did say my best take all year is that we make the final or we lose. Yeah, we make the final and win, or we make the final and we lose. But we love the FA Cup, and also we love the FA Cup across all the codes because our academy, our women's and our
Yeah.
men's side all made the
Crazy.
final. So yeah, we are going for the treble the FA Cup treble as they call it, dubbed by me. But they looked up for the cup and they seemed the forward pressure was sharp. That front four is crazy of Olsen,
Mm.
O'Sullivan, Bernabe, Holland. It works really well. They had Capox playing in this game, which we will get to at one point, but it was 10 minutes later where they doubled their lead through Holland still looking dangerous on that left side and Brighton being their former self, shaky with their clearances. Haley, who has been elite for the better part of the last 3 weeks, was absolutely smashed by
Mm.
Olsen in this aerial battle. Capox, who puts in enough pressure on the vein, Vanagas second effort, allows a sharp strike from Olsen at point blank range to find the back of the net. I cannot believe if Liverpool just set up shop here, go two banks of four, play absolute horror show ball,
Mm.
anti-football. They could have taken the possession, kept the press up, run away with it. But it was an instant reply that opened the door to a poetic Vido-ball remontada. So 30 seconds later, the corner comes in, resulting whip poorly dealt with by Capox. We spoke about Capox 2 weeks ago. We
Mm.
decided she wasn't the answer. It hasn't been going great for her this season, and it fell for Venegas, who gets to redeem herself. make it 2-1. Bernabe hit the crossbar just after this from outside the box. It was very sad end to the half for Liverpool. They could have been 3-1 up there, but the second half, I mean, this is where it all happens, Leggy. This is where Super Frank Irby hits the near post from a great half turn, and we're going to talk about Maisie Simons quite a bit because I think you could name every player in Brighton and decide they're the most underrated player in the league, but Maisie Simons was so good against Denise O'Sullivan in this game. Denise O'Sullivan, who we've been singing our praises to for the last month, was getting bodied by Simons. This transitional movement, I mean, there was great positioning from Falk and great keeping, but it was one-way traffic second half. It took 9 minutes for Kiko Saker, who's my player of the season for Brighton, other than probably Ndosia, but it took 9 minutes for her to stand up Bernabe, whip a slow, inviting back post, like dripper, one of those high balls that flops down. And it was, I mean, it's kind of cruel when you put Maddie Haley against Risa Shimizu, but the only way I can describe this is as a ratio. This is a full-on ratio header. Like, she jumps to double her size and it goes underneath Falk. It's a very like Thomas Muller in a Champions League final header, ties the game up. I think Silag had the best moment for Liverpool, but Ndosia's 1v1 goalkeeping, I swear she just wants to be done, given, like, she wants Brighton to give up possession so she can take the 1v1s, but it was a very poor finish from Silag. We had a penalty shout with Charlie Rule Stonewaller on McLean. What did you think of that one?
I mean, that's typical Charlie Rule. If I've ever seen it. I think that it could have been a penalty, but I think given the heat and the FA Cup-ness of it all,
the magic of the FA Cup, I said it. You see it.
You can't give those.
Yeah, and then, I mean, do you want to take it away? The 95th minute. What happens here? What did you think of this moment? Did you think that we were going into extra time like our game, or did you think that this was inevitable?
No, I think Brighton, they've been incredibly good on set pieces, right? But
and you know who's been terrible?
Liverpool, exactly. Yeah. We said this last time they played.
No, when we played them before the Kanak ball got whipped in, they said Liverpool are the worst set piece side in the WSL. They've conceded 6 goals to set pieces in the league. They've now conceded 7 in all comps. This is cruel.
It was cruel, but you got to give credit to, like, this was an incredible set piece, very well trained, and I felt like it was basically inevitable, like you said, to the point where I think Brighton deserved the win basically from here, from this point.
Yeah, so the whip was, whipped by Simons as well. The fact that she's on set pieces as well was fantastic. Kapox at the back post from the Clark ball, lobs Ndosia. So lobs Ndosia, but amazing save from Ndosia. But then again, it was poorly cleared by Liverpool. So then they end up with a corner. The corner gets whipped in. It's poorly cleared by Liverpool again. And Noordam, who scores her debut goal for Brighton in the 95th minute in an FA Cup semi-final to get her team to Wembley, book a date with City. City going for a double, Brighton going for, unless you can argue with me, their first ever trophy domestically. I'd be surprised if they've won anything. There's absolutely no way. But I mean, this is more than just City going for a double. This is City getting revenge for what happened 2.5 weeks ago. That was a cruel game. We're going to get prime Fran Kirby. We're going to get prime Maddie Haley. We're going to go full strength as well. I'm hoping. I don't think Viv will be back. I just don't see that happening. I would love if Viv is back by then, but it is in 2 weeks, I believe. So I think maybe.
Viv is back. I mean,
hopefully. We don't know. Exactly.
Injury,
but I mean, it is not an injury. But again, you need time for these kind of things to settle and be able to train, be able to get match fit, be able to get match ready. I don't expect her to be doing any sort of out of football training, like when trying to deal with personal matters and reasons. And ultimately, it means that we will be playing someone in the 10. I don't know who. I'm going to guess Mary Fowler, because Mary Fowler played very well in the 15 minutes she had. So why not get Mary Fowler on Maisie Simons and Kankovic? Why not just, instead of trying to go physicality for physicality and pace for pace, go technical ability? Just trust your players to win the game over. And you know what? Brighton will love nothing more than to go for their first trophy, and we would love nothing more than going for our first historic double. It would be an
Mm.
amazing cup and league double. I cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing game. But that is all we have for the English FA Cup as we move into Vive la France.
Mm.
The coup de féminin final. Who is it? PSG versus Lyon. What a shock. And what's the next shock? Not really. I, for one, would not like to aspire to be a PSG fan. My God, this is just another day, another week, another big bro, little bro, another Queen's Gambit moment. The Queen being Kang, Queen's Kangbit. This moment is just La Classique is not La Classique. It's not La Classique when this kind of thing happens. They
Yeah.
got battered in that first half. Oh my God, a first half blitz from Lyon absolutely killed off this final. And it wasn't even Hegerberg. It wasn't even Katoto. It was Eula Brand and my Lyon goat, Vicky Besho, finally delivering on the big stages. But no really big chances on target until Olga's headed clearance falls to the worst player in the world at the moment for it to fall to, Melky
Mm.
Dumonet, who is surrounded by four PSG players. I'm calling you all out, by the way. Elimbi, Ibalin, Samura, and Olga. All four of
Mm.
you, yeah? You got 1v Ford. You got 1v Ford by this Haitian goat right here. So
Mm.
she takes it away from Olimbi mid-air, wins the first 50-50. Then Hezzy's past Ibalin, does a cheeky in and out on Samura, and then smashes it through Mary MBE Earps, who probably should have done better to save this, by the way. But the fact that she went through the whole defense to score this first goal, the game was over then. Basically, it could have been 1-0 De Mornay, game over, which honestly is a scary precedent for the Champions
Yeah.
League final, which we will get to at some point. But the 34th minute, 11 minutes later, we have a Eula Brand ball, lofted cross. I'm sure that was triggering to watch for you, but it went to Vicky Besho this time, who heads it well over Olga. It hits the crossbar. The dive from Merps is absolutely nowhere near it. But also Mbok, Olga, standing there watching this Vicky Besho ball go up in the air and spin back down, hit the ground and go in like it's this Merseyside derby watching Jurgen Klopp go celebrate when the ball bounces off the crossbar. It's the most embarrassing, like this is the embarrassing stuff where
Mm.
PSG do all the good stuff against everyone else and then they play with no ambition. They play with no urgency when they're
Mm.
1-0 down. That ball had to be cleared. There's absolutely no right for that ball to go in. And it kills off the final. It's 2-0. The only good moment of the first half for PSG, shock, Karchawi plays Lukta in. But instead of last week, where she chips the keeper
Mm.
and does that amazing moment, look who's out to kill her. Enla's off her line quick. Rome tries to take it around her, can't get around her. And then she plays this terrible, clunky, awkward pass that makes me agree with you last week that you said Rome's not good enough to play for Manchester City. She's not good enough to be in the nine in the big games. I wouldn't trust her to get us over the line in an FA Cup semi-final if Bunny was injured or if we had someone better than her. If Schroeder was injured and we had to play Rome. But Bechet, Demorne, Katoto, triangle, tiki-tuckering PSG with mid-air back heels in the 35th minute is exactly why this is not a derby anymore. That moment where they're back heeling off the line in the corners, you could play the French, whatever the French equivalent of Mashkanada is, but it's basically imbattable at this point. You just play the Aura Farm music, but it was even more aura-farming when Pesho decides to hit an outside of the foot volley with her right foot into the top left corner from, again, another Eula Brand ball, not closed down by De Almeida. Besho gets separation from Olga. Everyone gives Besho the respect she deserves after that hit. That's what I expect from Besho earlier in the season when I was glazing the crap out of her, and it was a great celebration, all the players getting around her for that improvised finish. I mean, it was 3-0 at halftime, as much as Olimbi did force a save. But yeah, just so embarrassing. 3-0 down at halftime. I mean, this is a team that's going for the quadruple, no?
Not only the quadruple, but complete dominance in every game that they are playing in. I think that now, looking back on it, we have to commend the fact that, like I said in the
Yeah.
Champions League semi-final, we had an astounding second half, and I still stick
Yeah.
by it
Yeah.
because This is not a rivalry, and I know that
No.
you said it hasn't been it's not anymore. It
Yeah.
just has never been. I
Never
don't
been,
think
yeah, I guess.
PSG got like what 3 wins in the last however many games that they've played against
Mm,
them versus Lyon's 19. Like this is
mm,
an insane median that Lyon are chasing in terms
mm.
of just continuously keeping that persistence in like staying on track to being the best team in France, the best team in Europe. I
The best
don't
team in the
think
world.
the best team in the world. And I don't think that this half particularly endeared itself to the PSG fans, players. But to be honest with you, how can you be endeared by this PSG team? It's not
Absolutely
a
not.
team that is necessarily loved wholly by this PSG fan
No.
base. There are a lot of issues behind the scenes, but more so that this first half to me proved why Lyon and the investments they make, despite us having knowing the incredible problematic nature of them,
Oh,
is
yeah.
that they do come through.
Oh, it's great stuff. It's
Villa
great.
Branch.
It's great gags. You know what? Like the
Yeah.
Mastercard aura is unreal. Like
Yeah.
the Master Kang, like she is just killing. Like she doesn't make stupid signings. That's
No.
the part. She's doing it like
Yeah.
we joke, we have fun because if we can't make fun of Kang, who can we make fun of in
True.
WOSO? Absolutely not. But the reality is, she's doing career mode in real life,
Mm.
and she's doing it well. She's doing it
Yeah.
very, very well. And what I respect about her, which not a lot of others do, which was what we said last week, which is that she's not just buying Barcelona players. She might now, but she wasn't, right?
No.
Chewinga, De Mornay, these
Branch.
players, she's scoured the world for the
Yeah.
best of the best and has taken the best of the best. Watch Claudinho Martinez
Mm.
make that flight to Lyon and be another player that she's picked up from a place that no one decided to go there. No one wanted to put the big money down, and she went, you know what? This is what we're worth. And in the second half, you had a little bit better moments from PSG. Obviously, that goal
Mm.
from Kanjinga was
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, but that goal encapsulates everything wrong with the derby for them. Is that do you know how perfect that strike was? That had to be centimeter perfect in the top right corner from a ridiculous angle. I reckon the XG on that shot, if you want to look it up, you can. But the XG on that shot is probably 0.01. I'm going to
Mm.
say 0.01. She had no right to score that goal, even with Enla at the near post as well. But Ajibade was pressing better. Kanjinga skies another chance, but it was 74th minute where Salma Basha sails the most beautiful set piece ball, deep, long, holds its height, holds its line for an unmarked Lindsay Heaps. I cannot believe Lindsay's direct opponent. What a shock, Olga
Mm.
Carmona. But Lindsay Heaps gets screened around. She got screened by Engen of all people, which
Mm.
is fair enough. Engen knows her way around a set piece, but Lindsay Heaps at the back post, probably likely might be her last goal at the Groupama,
Yeah, great shout.
which is a great moment. And then Lafontaine for PSG, the 17-year-old got 1v1 about 2 minutes later, but Enla does well to save it, kill off a potential comeback, secure the CDFF trophy, their second trophy this year. They've got the Arkema playoffs very, very soon, and Oslo just as soon in that way.
Mm.
But look, I'm so afraid that, like, I mean, I will do the Umbatable, the parody. It is fully written now. It is fully finalized. It will be done next week when we're talking about a Lyon side that is
Mm.
generational. I just think that I really don't want them to end up with a quadruple. I really, like, they kind of deserve it based on how good they've been, the adversity they've shown specifically at the Groupama. But I think that's going to be their downfall, is that this game is in Norway. I know Engen and Hegerberg are going to be absolutely living for the
Mm.
fact that this game is in Norway, and the fact that there potentially is no Caro in this final for Barcelona. So there's no farming there, but Barca's record away from home this season, I feel like, has been better than Lyon's.
I think that the trick for this Lyon team is how can they go about the Barcelona of it all whilst also keeping their style of football front and center. They can't, as they have previously, specifically in 23-24, they can't go into this match thinking that they can catch Barcelona on the break, that they can hold out, potentially go in 1-0 at halftime and then hold out for the rest of it. That's not what's going to happen now. The
They need to
failures
channel the
or
old ones. They need to channel the ones before that.
exactly, but I was going to say that the failures or the weaknesses of past Barcelona teams are long gone. Like this is a Barcelona team that you cannot say, oh, they're weak in defense or they
Or
have
they get
terrible.
blitzed early. They get blitzed early. Yeah.
Or yes, in finals specifically, or they just pour on set pieces. Like this is
Mm.
not the Barcelona of today.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Lyon have also changed. I don't think this is the best Lyon team I've seen, nor is it up there with the teams that have beaten Barcelona in Champions League finals. But what this team does have about it is I do think there's a bit of heart in there. You can see the scenes. I felt like 23, 24. I don't know about you, but I felt it was an incredibly heartless Lyon team. Just for the way that they went about the journey to the final, the way that they went and performed in the final, there was no real heart. And I guess
I
that's
think
the
there was
story
more
of
individual
Barcelona.
brilliance in that game, whereas I feel like, I mean, again, it's the different. No, no offense, but it's the
Mm,
difference between Sonia,
exactly.
Bompastor, and Giraldes. And
It was
look,
the
if
end of her
anyone,
tenure,
yeah,
and it's the
exactly,
start of
and
his.
exactly right. And I think there is no one better
Mm,
to kill off the Barcelona machine
exactly.
than the guy who basically facilitated the
It's
best
growth.
Barcelona
Yeah.
we've seen. And don't get me wrong, this Barcelona side is killing off teams and their numbers are amazing in the league and they're still doing the same things. But they are gettable. We've seen them beaten this year. We've seen them drawing this year. We've seen
Mm,
them even this week. We will get it to it in part two. We will talk about the Liga F game. There was moments in that game where they were behind. They looked
mm,
shaky. They didn't look themselves. They're going to want to attack. I think if Leon want to, you're 100% right. It's not the same Barcelona side that got pipped 3, 4, 5 years ago, but in both of those occasions earlier. But if they want to channel some history, they're going to go after them early. De Mornay is
mm.
not going to be sitting regressing, playing lesser football than she wants. They want De Mornay with the ball at her feet. They're going to have to take on Patry. They're going to have to take on Ona Battier on that right side if they want to play those balls to Yul Brand, right? They have to trust their team to win their individual battles all across the ground. And they're going to have to trust their substitutes to take on the best of their best substitutes. Because the reality is that I don't know Barcelona's starting lineup. I don't know who would I play in the Champions League final. The idea would be is that you just keep it the same as that semi
Yeah.
that they had against Bayern Munich. But that semi didn't have Pina in it, and it did have Caro in it. So we don't know if it's Vicky, is it Pina, how they're going to set up this team. We have no idea, but we do know it's going to be APA versus Heaps, De Mornay,
Mm.
and whether it's Schrader or however they set up that third midfielder, maybe
I think
Johannes. I think
Johannes.
it'll be Johannes. So
And
Heaps, Schrader, and
I
no, Heaps, Johannes, and De Mornay would be an amazing midfield.
I think it's Johannes, and this may be controversial, but I think that that's going to be their weak point. I
Wow,
think
crazy.
Johannes in
What
big
about No
games.
Diani though?
No, Gianni is
Yeah,
massive, and the
that's a bigger
potential of
out
that
in my
is
opinion. Yeah.
huge. But I don't trust Johannes yet in big games. I don't trust her under pressure, and I don't trust her under Barcelona pressure. And I think that this is going to be a real
This is the
test
biggest
of.
test. It's the
This is
biggest
her
test.
biggest
Yeah.
test, and this may also be the test for her 2027 World Cup
Oh
campaign. Like,
yeah,
will she
mate.
start
We know.
for
Well,
the
we know
US?
who's going to be. We know who's going to be sitting there in her jacket that has a whole paragraph on it, basically. But Emma Hayes will probably be in Oslo watching
Mm,
Lindsay and Lily do what they can
mm.
in the biggest game for their career. But we will move to the biggest game in Melina Mirez's career. We're going to the dub. We're going down under to the A-League semi-final second leg.
Mm.
Like, do you have deja vu? Do you have deja vu from this
It
game?
feels like I feel like it might be same result, same play, different location.
Different
Maybe.
location. Wow. In the magic of not Amy Park.
The magic
As we said.
of
Yeah.
Casey,
Yeah, the magic of Casey. Casey Ball has never been more alive than well. Nothing better than an underwhelming, non-comprehensive win and another little bro moment to Melbourne victory. My God. Shout out to Shelby, though. Shelby McMahon and Holly Mack setting her up. Bit of
Mm,
combination play, trying to get Keane in, dealt with very well by Morrison, but the rebounding half volley from a 17-year-old Shelby
yeah.
McMahon is hit to perfection, which basically seals the whole game. I don't know if it would have sealed that leg. I kind of thought you'd get one back, but my God, it was, I don't know. It's just a situation where the myriad of victory chances, which I will let you go on about, just for me ended up quite, like it was laughable. It was kind of laughable at this point.
Unfortunately, we regressed to some real Sunday league antics in this
Mm.
game. Long shots, horrendous crosses, and blatant misses in opportunities I've seen
They're
players
trying to
score.
miss.
Like, I don't
Blatant
understand
miss.
it. I don't understand
Uh,
it. And I think there
mm,
was a point in this game. I don't know if you remember it. I
mm,
believe it was around the 75th minute. The ball had been kicked out, and
yeah.
our players watched as the ball went over
Oh,
everybody, stayed in, and they turned their heads and walked away. And I think that that is a perfect encapsulation of these two legs. I think it was lazy. I think it was way too complacent. And
and it went way
unfortunately,
over your head.
yeah, and it went way over our head. And unfortunately for Hopkins, I hope this
Uh,
is his last game. And I don't mean that to the disrespect the history that he has at Melbourne Victory, but for us to improve, for us to actually advance in the dub, a W
mm.
League that, by the way, has not advanced beyond our means. City are not playing like Galacticos football. It's the
Oh,
fact
I
that we are
wish.
playing the same football all the
Hey,
time without change.
It's Galacticos football based on what the league has to offer, which
True.
is look, Matriciani ball. I'm not going to sit here and say like there's magic to giving Holly McNamara the reins to do whatever she wants and giving Keane the ability to invert. I mean, this is a Matriciani who's not playing Apostolakis,
Yeah,
which is,
true.
I mean, playing Ross Backen and Turner over her. I mean, look, I think Danielle Turner's the experience and Ross Backen's had a very good month, but maybe Apostolakis isn't fully fit. I don't know. But for this final on Saturday, which we've booked a date with Team Bev, Wellington Phoenix producing the comeback of dreams, we will get to that game very soon. But the reality is that I think Apostolakis, if she's fit, kind of deserves the start. But and I also think she matches up better to what they have, especially if Apostolakis is going to be on the right side.
Mm.
We'd want to be stopping the P of Vlok of it all, which I mean was not stopped by Brisbane in this game. Wow, wow, wow! This was we knew the home ground advantage would help, but we didn't know how much. I mean, I didn't want to keep droning on about the Melbourne Derby, so we went to Bev-ball with some great chance creation, decisive, judicious, and innovative. The only way I can describe it, DJI, the famous drone brand that is DJI. I had to do it. I just have to. If we don't laugh, it's just sad. And then but it was the 42nd minute where the DJI model honed in on its target as my young A-League goat, Pia Vlok, plays her long ball to Michaela Woods, who has definitely secured her place in the Isuzu Dub Ninja A-League team of the season. Yeah, she's just a freak. She's just so good, Michaela Woods. And actually, Pia Vlok would be very close to the team of the season as well. I just think Chloe Lincoln, who's many people argue the best keeper in the league this year, too late off her line, way too late off her line. Woods fires it in over her when she dives low. It's a really, really underrated finish. I think the finish won't go down as like something special, but it's actually really hard to lift the ball and keep it low despite having it over the keeper. There were just big chances going Nick's way second half. They kept putting pressure on. None nearly got the winner in the 86th minute as Seidel was on skates. She hit it from distance. It hit the crossbar. They had Anthony come on, who was an amazing super sub. Mackenzie Anthony had a great press on Amy Medwin, who's been excellent all year in right back, in centre midfield, even up front at some points. She's been all over the park, but she teed up Woods, who fired near and wide. Woods has another chance in the 96th minute, but Chloe Lincoln makes a fantastic one-on-one save. And we go to extra time magic, where everything changes. No, nothing changed. It was exactly the same. Where was Brisbane? No Sean Fryer, but Ben Janssen. Where was the Brisbane of last leg in this effort? And I mean, we had we had the ball from Brooke Nunn. That was fantastic. And Rasso's favourite Filipino friend, Angela Beard,
Jesus, it's horrendous.
fluffs the defensive effort really badly.
Airball.
Woods,
Yeah.
yeah, full on air kick, like scissor kick of dreams. I don't know what she's swinging at, but it's definitely an axe on her foot because it was a straight butcher. And then it was Woods who got there ahead of Lincoln again, put them one up in the tie, sent them into the final. Bev's first year, Bev's first final against Matriciani Ball at Amy Park. I will be there. Obviously, 1-0 own goal. It's so coming. It's so going to be underwhelming final, but nah, I'll be honest. I think they do score. I think they do score. With the front four that they have, they should score, but I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I think they score first. I think we equalize with, I'm going to go, this is going to be nuts. You ready? Equalizer, McKenna.
Okay.
Winner, 95th minute, McNamara penalty.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna be contrarian because of course I am. And I think Wellington, given the scoring prowess, they're the best scorers in the league. I think that this might be one of the higher scoring finals that we've had. Last year was
We're thinking it's sort of 1-0 derby final, I guess.
No, I hate the 1-0ers. I want this to be like a 3-2, and I want Wellington to win.
Of course you do.
I'm gonna say Wellington win, and I'm gonna say Brook Nunn winner. I'm gonna
Brook
say
Nunn
Woods has a
winner.
good
Woods,
game,
I
Vlok has a
assume.
good game.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna
exactly
say
right.
Brook Nunn winner. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, if those two are doing well, I assume it's Pia Vlok facilitating it. But will they be able to handle the big flight over? That is the real question.
That's true.
Who knows? I mean, it's not Perth, but it is a big flight over. But we will find out soon enough. We are going to move to a nation that we haven't really talked about that much this season. We do care about it when we get to the finals. It is the Liga MX Closera. The semi-final. We're going to talk about the first and second legs. We're going to start with Pachuca and Monterrey.
How did you pronounce that?
Pachuca. I don't know. Pachuca. Yeah. Pachuca.
It's Pachuca, right?
Pachuca and Monterrey. Monterrey doing their own version of remontada, a 25-minute remontada for the ages in the second leg where Monterrey turned around a 3-goal aggregate deficit, knocked out the top scorer in the league and the cup as well in Corral, who scored 40 goals this season. What a crazy. She's outscoring Le Sommer, which is nuts as well, and Urseg as well. But it was a horrendous own goal reminiscent of the dub to start the remontada by Osinachi Oale, but it was a second half remontada that was crazy. The second goal was a corner scramble finished off by Valerie Vargas. The third was a horrendous mistake from the Pachuca defender, allowing Vargas to put the ball across to their scorer, their top scorer, Birkenroad, who scored her 9th tournament goal, which is crazy, to level the aggregate. And the 4th to win the tie, finish it off from the right side. The left winger, Lucia Garcia, targets Pachuca's right side. Pachuca. And it was a bazooka from a volley that somehow gets through the keeper at the near post. Very sad, elite mentality from Lucia Garcia, and books them a date with, I mean, you love Lucia Garcia.
I hate that she played for United, but I love her. Like, I think in this household, I have said Lucia Garcia so many times.
Yeah.
It is
I mean, she is United's only history. She is United's only history. You know, when Leah Schuller was talking about when she was coming there and she's like, United is a club with big history. She's talking about Lucia Garcia. That is the only player she is talking about. Maybe Alessia Russo and Lauren James for the brief cameos that they had before they realized that there was better elsewhere. But who have they booked a date with, Allegra? What a shock.
I mean, unfortunately for me, who's had the same debate with our mutual friend Sophia about Club America being the second worst team in Mexico behind my favorite Tigres.
The second worst, second best,
second best behind my favorite Tigres. Unfortunately, they absolutely thumped their opposition.
Oh my God. Toluca, or as I've renamed them, Eugenie Lossomer FC, ELS FC. I mean, the second leg was a 4-3. It was an impressive second leg, but it doesn't really count when the first leg you get Brazil, Germany at home. You got 7-1 at home, 11-4 on aggregate. I mean, it doesn't really matter who we talk about. We're going to talk about the second leg first because I think it's more interesting to talk about that first, where in the 91st minute, the super sub Alexa Soto taps in across from Gianna Riley. Gabby Garcia also scored a beautiful header early in this second leg to remind you that my Athletic goat is doing so much better without Athletic. I still think she's a top 10 midfielder, top 10 6 in the world. Her physical stature and nature. I mean, City, get her. If we don't need another 6, but just get her. She's great. Get her for the corners. Why not? Actually, Arsenal should get her. Arsenal need that 6 cover. That's what I think you should get. But and also the physical size, the stature is something you don't have in midfield, which would be useful for you. We have Sydney Lohman. We don't need that caliber of player. You definitely want that aerial threat that isn't just Alessia Russo or Leah Williamson. So make it a third, a triple, holy trinity of set piece threats. But it was the 7-1 where Jace had her mitts. Another United, ex-United is just the dumping ground in Mexico.
It's this league. MX is like, if you point and like throw something, you're going to find an ex-WSL player or like an ex-baller from France. Like it's either way.
Or an ex-dub in Abby Erceg. Yeah. I mean, Abby Erceg, baller. I mean, she was the only one goal in the 7-1, which is depressing. But we're going to go through them quickly. Cambreros, Kimberly Rodriguez, Irina Guerreros, Jace with her combo play with an outside of the foot finish on the ground was so techie. And then it was so nice to take it and then to kill it off the ground into the top left corner. To kill off the leg is just so clean. Nancy Antonio scores a free kick top right bins, and then Aylin Aviles crisply finishes bottom right for the Brazil-Germany scoreline. The auto dub that I had on comms for the extended highlights were hilarious, and I say more. Just listen to it for yourself. Get the 15 minutes for yourself. It's beautiful. But we have Club America, the team that has bottled more finals than every single bottling side that's ever lived, against Monterrey, who have been fantastic this season in their own right. Second in the league. They are ahead of Tigres in the Clausura. So where do we see this going?
I think this is a Club America win, and I think that's based simply on experience in finals. It is two-legged, and I know the history of Club America and two-legged finals is not fantastic.
1-0 to the Monterrey. 1-0.
But I do think that the thing that stood out to me most in the 7-1 was bar JC's brace. They're all different goal scorers. So they have the versatility in front of goal that I just don't think Monterrey have, despite actually having a very even goal difference at the end of the normal season. So they are very, very close, and it will be a tight match, both legs.
I just think it's nerve-wracking. The finals, they always get nervy. It doesn't matter that they scored 11 goals in these two legs. I think they have to get one early, and they have to like settle into the final. But I think the first one might be a tight one. I think it might be 2-2 in the first leg, and then I think I haven't actually looked up who's home and who's away first, but it's
Monterrey first and then
at home.
And then,
Okay, so I'm going to go 2-2 first leg, and then I'm going to go 3-1 second leg. So they pull away.
I'm going to go Monterrey is going to win the first leg. I'm going to go 3-1.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah. I'm going to go
my God. So she hates you.
I know.
Oh, my God.
3-1. And then I'm going to go, the comeback is going to be 2-0. And then we're going to go into extra time.
Wow. And then pens or finished in extra time?
I reckon pens. Just from what I've seen of South American football in the last 12 months, it's all going
MX
to
penalties. MX penalties there is no better aura in the world than MX penalties. Not even World Cup final penalties give the same aura, in my opinion. I think MX penalties just like the flares, the energy, the crowds are always massive as well. Yeah. It's going to be so much energy for that final, and I'm looking forward to it just as much. I'm looking forward to it more than the playoffs in the REMONTADAS. I'm looking forward to it more than not more than the A-League or the FA Cup final. To be fair, that's just more personal on that note. But that is all we have for the Clausura, and that is all we have for part 1 of the podcast.